You know, I got beef with you. I'm really sick of you saying you don't have friends. Because welcome back, guys, it's your sticky friend Cemtex here. You get what I mean when I say sticky, by the way, right? Not like I'm rolling around syrup. Like the sticky grenade. Get it? Because my name's Cemtex, but with a C. Not because I'm illiterate, there's meaning behind it. That's not the point. Welcome back to part 2 of nostalgia and video games. Now, thousands upon thousands were begging me to make a part 2. There was a few people, but let's pretend. I ended up compiling a way bigger list than I meant to, but a lot of them I don't have a super strong memory of. I remember certain aspects of it, so we're gonna quickly get by them. I might make a part 3 that's exclusively Wii games, because I found trying to think back there was a lot of Wii games here, so I thought I'd give them their own category, because I can probably make a whole video on those, even though they're more recent. Without further ado, let's get into it. Our first game on the list will be Madagascar for the PS2. You see, I know I played this a lot, and at this time I'm recording, I actually haven't watched footage of it, which I should have. I'm just going off the top of the dome. But for some reason, I remember there was like a little hockey or curling part of mini game in there. And it's weird, I can't remember much because I played a lot of it. Maybe I should look it up. Hold up, 1 second. Okay, from what I just looked up, the game's really all over the place. You just play as the different characters doing different tasks. I just mainly remember playing as Alex the Lion. The next game is Frogger for, I don't know, I think it was the PS1 or PS2. I think there's a bunch of different variations of the Frogger games, but I'm talking about one specific one where you could play co-op with someone. And for this, I remember playing with my sister quite a bit. The more I think of it, I played a lot with my sister when I was younger. That sounded a little more Alabama than I wanted it to. But then there's a period a few years later where we fucking hated each other, and now that we're adults, we get along. Life's kind of weird. I say as I'm about to say a negative of our childhood. Frogger, you play as a frog. And your objective is to get to one side of the street to another without getting hit by the obstacles, which is mostly cars. This specific game, you're trying to collect your babies from the other side, little frog babies. I'm pretty sure the goal is just to work together as a team, but there was this mechanic where you could go over and jump on your teammate, and you couldn't do anything about it. You couldn't move or anything. You'd be stuck in this little flailing animation. So the fucked up thing that we would do is we'd be crossing the street together, you know, all chill, and then just jump on each other while a car's coming. Just waiting till the last second to jump off. And it was too late. You know, I really need to up my camera quality. This webcam doesn't even support 60 FPS. I just found that out, so maybe when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll upgrade it. Fuck it. Who needs a ring light when you could just use a phone flashlight? It probably does the same. I look better now? Is this it? Am I professional? I'll do the rest of the video like this if that's what you want. You don't have to beg. My cornea is burning. The next game I seem to remember is PacMan, but not just the normal arcade PacMan that you're thinking of, even though I did play that quite a bit too. That was actually one of the first games I played, I'm pretty sure. What I'm talking about, it was this weird 3D PacMan game. I can't remember too much. You just run around as a PacMan guy. It's the funniest shit to me. Not sure why. It's an open world kind of thing. You go around collecting little, whatever the fuck, breadcrumbs. And points where you actually run away from the little ghost, just as in the original game. But they look fucking creepier for some reason. I didn't know that was possible, because in the original they look kind of sus. I mean, there's so many games on this list, I'm really trying to get through them fast. Next up is Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64. Now, there's a lot to unpack in Pokemon Stadium. There's the typical 1v1 battle, sure. Did that quite a bit. At the time, I probably didn't understand how Pokemon works, so it was just kind of random clicking buttons for me. There were so many actually fun mini games in Pokemon Stadium. Digging contests with Sandshrew, or making and eating sushi as Lickitung. There was a weird hypnosis game with Drowsy. And then there's a stupid one you played as Magikarp and you see how many flops you can get. See who could basically click faster, that's all it was. Next up, Army of Two for the Xbox 360. Army of Two and Gears of War, which is another game on this list, are both like my first third-person shooter games, because I've only ever really played first-person shooters. I think they did such a good job on the story too, and something I strongly remember of the gameplay is you could just headbutt people as like melee finishers, which I thought was so cool, and you got to play either as like kind of the leader guy or the big buff guy, and I'd always play the buff guy in games, not because I thought they looked good or anything, just because I thought they were strong and cool. I wanted to be just like them. No, but the customization of the game was actually pretty cool, pretty sick. At the end of the levels, it would cut to this cool comic book kind of strip design telling what happened next in the story, and the options actually affected the story. One, I'll have to look up and put it in. Fight all the enemies in like this zoo setting, and you find a tiger, maybe in an office or something, I'm not sure. Someone's on the radio telling you, hey, you're gonna shoot this fucking tiger. And then you could say, no, I'm not gonna shoot this fucking tiger. Or you could be like, nah, I gotta shoot this fucking tiger. The option I always chose was not shoot the tiger, because tigers are sick, so fuck you. But it plays a role, because after that, there's a cutscene in a little comic book style. The tiger crawling in the back of someone's car they left open, and that someone's car is someone who was just robbing you, or maybe robbing a store. It was a robber, you'll see in the cutscene. And the guy gets in not seeing the tiger in his back seat, and, well, tiger fucks him up. If you kill the tiger, he would've just got robbed, so You gotta weigh your options here. I want to touch on Gears of War. Gears of War, I actually played through Gears of War 1 through 3. And it was some of my favorite games. I remember staying up really late playing. Again, I don't think I ever played as Marcus. I always played as Dom. Was that his name? Obviously, the thing that stands out with Gears of War is the chainsaw mechanic. You get a fucking chainsaw attached to your guns, and just cutting people in half was so gory and brutal. It was great. I never played PvP on the game. I heard that was pretty big. I just wasn't that guy, pal. Yeah, the story was great, the voice acting was great. I actually really love the games. I got the third game as it released. I didn't get it. The person I was playing with got it. And they got it, and we ended up beating it all within, I think, 2 days, because we just stayed up all night playing. And so, a few days later, they returned it to GameStop. Just said they didn't like it, even though we beat the game already, because there was like a 7-day return policy or something like that. So we just played the full thing and then got the money back. I don't know if it's an asshole move, maybe it's smart, but since they're going out of business now, I feel bad. Now this next one is very niche. I don't know if I'll even be able to find gameplay for it. I say that, but it's going to be one of the most popular things. No, but it was actually a Goosebumps games for the Nintendo DS. I'm pretty sure the theme of it was like a haunted carnival place and you'd play carnival games. For this video, I should have looked up everything first, so I refreshed my memory, then made the video, which is what I did for the last video, but I kind of want to go straight off memory. Now, one of my favorite games was kind of not a game, but it is a game, and it's for the PS2. No idea what it's called. I'll put the title in here. It was a singing game. So it was a singing game for the PS2 that had songs like How to Save a Life, Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, The Reason by Hoopstank, Lips of an Angel, Move Along by All American Rejects, just to name a few. And because of this game, I thought I was hot shit at singing for the longest time. Because when you're singing in these games, there's a meter where, you know, your pitch will be, you try to keep your pitch in the meter bar. And I would always get the highest score to anyone I played with. So I'm like, oh, I got pipes. And I go around thinking I'm hot shit for a bit. And I heard myself singing one day in a recording. I almost wanted to punch myself in the trachea. It's really good to hear your voice. Say my name, it sounds so sweet. I found some banger songs from there. And now they're still one of my favorite songs to this day. And I was thinking about making this video. I briefly mentioned in my last video this game, Feeding Frenzy, for PC. Now, Feeding Frenzy is the same concept each level, but it gets kind of harder and harder and just has different fish. You start as a little fish, right? And it tells you what fish you're allowed to eat at the time. You go around eating all those fish, dodging all the other fish that can eat you until you get bigger. When you hit your goal of eating enough little fish, you become a little bit of a bigger fish, and so you can eat bigger fish. And then you just keep doing that, and you go up like 3 times the level. And then eventually you become the biggest fish there is on the map, and you can just eat everything else until your feed bar is full. Later on, it switches between like this normal fish to a big yellow fish. I always thought the yellow fishes were kind of fucking creepy and angry looking. I didn't like it. And there was this one horrifying fish. It was fucking scary. It was like a little clownfish thing. I don't know what it was. It scared the shit out of me though. Eventually later you could play as this little fucking Finding Nemo fish. Not the clownfish, but the scary one with the light on its head. And at a certain point you would have to watch out for sharks, and the sharks look fucking scary too. I don't know why. Everything in this game looked terrifying, which is probably why it took me a while to actually get around to playing it. I would sit there and watch my meme play it. She'd be really into it, and I'd be pissing my pants watching it, but at least I didn't have to touch it. But when I eventually got around to playing it, I had a good time. Never got as far as her. Got too scared. Turned it off. Let's get on to the next game. This is embarrassing. Next game on our list is Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal. I probably pronounced that wrong. It's spelled weird. ACME? Don't know. This is for the Xbox 360. I played this one quite a bit, actually. I always played as a little Martian guy or the Tasmanian Devil. But basically, you play as all the Looney Tune characters, just try to collect, you know, coins, that type of stuff, and defeat enemies. You could have this little punching gun. You could have an actual little gun. You can play as Daffy Duck, you know, all those people. Actually, a really cool game. You should check it out and still play it if you have the chance. I also remember I'd always play as this big chicken guy. Not sure his name, to be honest with you. Or sometimes this, like, red hairy guy. I can't remember their names, but I used to play as a lot of different characters, I guess. The masterpiece that was Blue's Clues on the PC. It's funny now, like, I feel weird saying PC because I think of PCs as being, like, kind of high-end type things. But obviously back then, they were actually dinosaurs. I got so excited loading up this game and jumping into the world of Blue's Clues. Start at the front door, get to go inside, find Blue's Clues, explore the house that you'd see in the show all the time. And I was a huge, huge fan of the show. I had a little green Steve shirt. I had the notebook with the crayon. I had a Blue's Clues blanket. I literally wouldn't go anywhere without it. I was obsessed with that show. If there was like one childhood show that like you could say was, you know, your childhood show, Blue's Clues was definitely it for me. And watching the transition between it going from Steve to Joe as being the host of Blue's Clues really threw me off. I had the realization when I was younger watching Blue's Clues, I don't know why it specifically happened around this time. I thought if you turned off your TV when you were watching something, it hurt the people that were inside of the TV at the time. I don't know why. So I thought if I turned it off while I was watching Blue's Clues, Steve was fucking done. He was gonna hate me. So I left it on when I went to go eat or something. But I'd replay the game so many times. I don't know why. I don't know if there's not a save file or anything, but I remember playing the same parts over and over and over. I don't know, Steve just felt so warm and inviting to me, and it was such a comforting game for me because it was my comfort show. And I remember many years later I played another game where Blue was the main character, but it was in this different weird animation because it was later in time and they're trying to expand it and make it something else. But definitely not as good as this one. This one was fantastic. Ice Age 2 for the PS2. Ice Age 2, another fantastic game. I remember playing as Scrat, I think that's his name, the squirrel. Hopefully not Scat, or that would be quite awkward. Just running around collecting acorns maybe, or maybe it was coins and then you're trying to find the one acorn, I don't know. Not much I remember about this, to be honest, except, just the cutscenes of seeing all of them talk and interact. I'm gonna group these all into one. I played multiple Sims games. Some of them were on the Game Boy Color, some were on the DS, some were on the PS2. Off the top of my head, I think I played Sims 2, Sims 3 was my main one. There's one called like Sims Pets, and there's this other one. I don't remember. The art style made me feel eerie. I don't know why. I keep remembering Scarecrow. Scarecrow, someone in a red shirt. There's a bunch of hay everywhere. Maybe it was a bard? Maybe it was a fucking bard. I'm pretty sure everyone played those, trying to see their Sims naked. It was fine. It wasn't just you. We're in this together. Then there was this King Kong game, I believe it was for the PS2. This one's kind of questionable because I played it at daycare, but it was mostly me watching my friend play it, and I played it very briefly, but I still want to talk about it. I remember one of the intro scenes or something, you arrive on a ship, and then a rock falls on your ship. I should call it a boat. It was like a little boat, and a rock falls on your boat, and it cuts to there's someone laying on the ground with a thing over their head, like a little white blanket. But you could see their head was smashed in by the rock. I remember actually like almost pissing my pants when I saw you had to fight these little spider things. You had like these spears you craft and you throw at them. I genuinely want to rewatch just a full playthrough of it, actually. I enjoyed watching it a lot. And I played it a little bit when you could play as King Kong, which we're going to get to right now. You could play as King Kong, and I remember there's part where like you were fighting a huge bat or dragon or something like that, and you had a cue to just spam the button. He was fucking ripping its wings off with his bare hands. I thought that was the most badass thing. That's a great game. I think that would probably still hold up. I need to look back at it. I'm sure it won't. They probably need to remaster the shit out of it. I want to quickly touch on Scribblenauts for the DS. You don't know Scribblenauts, what are you doing? Scribblenauts was the first, it was such a big brain game to me. It put you in these situations like, this dude's hungry, and you could spawn almost anything you wanted to. So how would you fix his hunger? You type pizza and have a pizza spawn and give it to him. And if it accepted that as like a result, then you got to pass the level. It was really cool, actually. Someone's about to mug you. You could spawn a gun, you can shoot them. Whatever you want to do. I would be lying if I didn't try to type boobs or something in a few times to see if they would spawn. They didn't. Likely you didn't do it. You're a fucking liar. Oh, you didn't. Okay. Last one I can only briefly talk about was called Conans Bad Fur Day. I was having a sleepover with a friend, the same person I went to daycare with. And I believe this game is rated M, but we got permission to rent it from a video store that was by us. I think my dogs heard a motorcycle. I had no idea what it was, so we brought it home, started to play it, and I'm like, holy shit, there's so much blood. It's a little cartoon dude. He's like, oh, it looks all sweet and friendly, and just starts fucking, there's blood everywhere. What's going on? I think for my part 3, I can do Wii games, so I think I could speak on that more because it's more fresh in my mind. If you want that, cool. Let me know. And if you made it to the end of the video, I love you. On that note, it's been your sticky friend Cemtex. Until next time, peace out.